Hey guys, it's Alex here from HEXA Health Hub, and today we are talking about bridging, specifically how you can change the position of your bridge to either work your glutes more or your hamstrings more for more muscle gains. Stick around. Working a particular muscle in the body doesn't just come down to thinking about contracting it harder and then all of a sudden it's going to work harder. The body doesn't work that way. The body and what muscles you use in a movement purely comes down to what position you set yourself up into and the movement that you go through. Therefore, putting yourself into a different position is going to work or bias different muscle groups. If we want to do a bridge movement that biases targeting your hamstring muscle group, you need to elevate your feet and then have your shoulders lower down than your feet and supported onto the floor. The setup for a hamstring bridge is having your back and shoulders nice and supported on the floor. You want a 90-degree angle at your hips and then a 90-degree angle at your knees. So pick a box or a bench at a height that is suitable to allow for these angles. From here, instead of pushing your feet away from you into the box, which will actually use your quads to lift up, I want you to think about pulling your heels down into the bench top or to the top of the box, and pulling that leg down will then lift your hips up to the ceiling and coming back down. That is your hamstring bridge. To help you feel like you're pulling down rather than pushing away, take your shoes off, and having socks on or something that's slippery will force you to actually pull down with your heels rather than letting your feet slip away. That is the hamstring bridge. Now you can make this more difficult by adding weight onto your hips or even by lifting one foot into the ceiling and creating that single leg hamstring bridge. Again, adding weight to make it more difficult. The other bridging variation that we're going to show you is one where you set up with your shoulders up on the box and the feet supported on the floor, which is the exact opposite or the flip side of what we do for the hamstring bridge. Setting up in this variation position for the bridge will target your gluteus maximus muscle group more compared to using your hamstring group with the other bridge variation. Set yourself up into a box and have your shoulder blades supported up on top of the box. Your foot position needs to be one that when your hips are up to the ceiling, your feet need to be directly underneath your knees. If your feet are too far away, you're going to take weight or pressure away from your glutes. If they're too close, you're going to do the same thing, taking pressure away from that hip drive from your glutes. Now your gluteus maximus, or your big glute butt muscles here, work hardest when they're in that full extension position or in line with the trunk. This is how we stay upright and standing, which is one of the main functions of the gluteal muscle group. So when you're in this position, you've got gravity acting hardest, which is perpendicular to where the line of your legs and your trunk is. So in this position, body horizontal, legs horizontal, your glutes are working hardest to keep them driven right up at the top of the movement. You're going to hinge or pivot down at the hips, drive your hips back up, making sure that at the top of the movement, your knees are vertical on top of your ankles. To make this harder, you can put a barbell or a weight across your hips and do that same thrusting, that hip thrusting movement, or bring your feet together so then you find that center point for balance, lift one leg up, coming down and thrusting up to the ceiling. You can think of pressing through your heel on the ground to make it easier to engage through your glutes rather than pushing through your toes, which ends up pushing through your quads and your calf more. Think about pressing through the heels, driving your hips up. That is the glute bridge variation. So there you have it, guys. Two different movement variations of bridging to help you target your hamstring muscle group versus your glute muscle group. If you're finding these videos helpful for you and you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all of our latest videos and information. If you're on Instagram, head to our profile page and hit the bell up the top of the screen and stay up to date with all of our notifications and our posts for you. Thanks, guys.